All right, welcome to our reaction. You know what I mean? This time we have Dr. Umar Johnson and the Smile to a Smile It's Summer. Well, all right, the TVJ morning program, you know what I mean? Being interviewed by Neville Bell and thing. So we are going to react to it. You know the thing already. You know what I mean? This should be interesting. We are going to give it 2 cents too. You know what I mean? You know the thing already. So as you come in, just remember to like, you know what I mean, share. Also, leave the thoughts in the comments. You know the thing already. So without further ado, we're going to jump straight into it.
Garvey's vision continues to resonate across generations, across the world. We ask what Pan-Africanism means in today's world, and we're exploring its future in the 21st century with psychologist and Pan-Africanist Dr. Umar Ifatunde. We're examining how Garvey's ideas can shape and inspire a whole new generation. Inspired him.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome to Smile.
Glad to be with you.
Tell me a little bit about that inspiration.
My inspiration with regard to the Honorable Marcus Garvey actually came from my childhood neighborhood, the international headquarters for the Universal Negro Improvement Association and African Communities League is in North Philadelphia. My mother used to purchase my tennis shoes right next door to the Garvey house, but I never knew it was the Garvey house from 4th grade to my junior year of college. And finally, they painted it red, black, and green, and they put Garvey's picture in the window. That's when I knew. So I'm standing there, and an elder comes around the corner, Johnny Gossett. He's an ancestor now. He was the keeper of the building. He said, "May I help you?" I said, "Yes, Marcus Garvey's picture in the window. The building is red, black, and green. What's going on in here?" He said, "Come back Sunday at 3 p.m. I came back that Sunday at 3 p.m., and it's been 25 years.
Was there something specific that you heard that held you?
Well, my elementary school was 4 walking blocks away from the UNIA. So this is my neighborhood. We had Black history class in the 4th and 5th grade. So that's 9 and 10 years old. In the 6th grade, my father took me to my first family reunion in Washington, D.C. That's when I learned that I was related to the Honorable Frederick Douglass, for whom Marcus Garvey named the first Black Star Line steamship. Yes, Frederick Douglass and my 4 times great-grandfather were first cousins, half brothers, because the slave master raped both of their mothers. So that was my inspiration for Black consciousness. And then I met Garveyism around the corner.
Did you learn about Garvey in school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fantastic.
Some of us have gone through all of that, but we didn't stay the road. What
Yes.
made you stay the road?
I believe I was born to do the work. I was raised, my mother, Christian, Baptist. My father was Sunni Orthodox Islam. Neither one of them particularly gave us Black consciousness. They gave us good character, hard work, love and service to others, but not the Black consciousness. So for me to be how I am, I think the ancestors put it in me.
Can we talk a little bit about Black consciousness?
Sure.
What that looks like in today's world. Well, certainly where you live. No, that's my goodness, what a time.
What a time.
The United States of America.
What a time.
But globally, when we talk about Black consciousness, and when we talk about the Pan-African movement, what are we talking about that?
Pan-Africanism, I could sum up in 3 main points. All members, blood members of the African race constitute a single, unique family, and that racial identity as an African supersedes every other identity. It's more important than being Christian. It's more important than being Muslim. It's more important than being Jamaican. It's more important than being an American African. It supersedes everything. Why? Because God made us African. The only thing you belong to that God chose was your Africanity. Everything else your family chose, you chose. So for us, the African identity is supreme. Number 2, whatever is to be done for African people must be done by African people. Self-determination without any interference from any alien group. That is very important. Number 3, repatriation and reclamation of Africa. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said, a strong man is strong everywhere. I travel all over the world. Wherever you see the Chinese, they're strong. Wherever you see the Indian, they're strong. Wherever you see the Jew or the Anglo-Saxon, they're strong. And wherever you see the African, we are economically, psychologically, and politically compromised. It is a global reality. So we would say as Pan-Africanists, and as Marcus Garvey Pan-Africanists in particular, until Africa rises, the rest of us cannot. You cannot separate the progress of Jamaica from the progress of Africa. You cannot separate the progress of Black America or Brazil or the UK or Australia, any group. You cannot separate it from the progress of Africa. As the mother goes, so goes the children.
Right. What about reparations?
Reparations is very important.
Yeah.
And as you know, this past March, President John Mahama of Ghana, and I just received my Ghanaian citizenship last year, and I have ancestry from Ghana as well. He was in New York City, the historic United Nations resolution declaring the transatlantic slave trade the worst crime in human history. Subsequent to that, he came to North Philadelphia, my neighborhood, Temple University. I had the opportunity to see him speak. I actually received my citizenship the day before he was sworn in Ghana. So I didn't get a chance to see him then because I was flying out, but I did see him in North Philadelphia. Didn't get a chance to meet, but I heard the message. So I appreciate what he did. Continuing on the legacy of Osachifo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the Honorable Marcus Garvey, and others, reparations is key. However, we cannot wait for it. We must continue to work. My concern about the reparations push is too many diasporan Africans. We, the children of the transatlantic slave trade, we're waiting. We can't wait. We continue to fight for reparations, and we continue to fight to improve our condition where we are as it is. You cannot wait. That would be a trap.
Yep. Dr. Ifatunda, we were speaking before we came
Yes,
on.
sir.
And one of my friends, when they heard I was going to interview you, he said I should ask you because you said you should not marry outside of your race.
Absolutely.
And he said, what about Jamaica? We're out of many one people, so we have different kinds of Jamaicans. We look differently. And if some people might say there's a white Jamaican. So should I not marry a Jamaican if she doesn't look like me?
My opinion on interracial marriage is identical to that of His Excellency Marcus Messiah Garvey. No Black man has any business dating, mating, or procreating outside of the race. No Black woman has any business dating, mating, or procreating outside of the race. There are more Black women in the world than any other population. She outnumbers everybody as a population. So if you don't like the African women in Jamaica, go to Haiti. Go to Brazil, go to Barbados, go to Africa, go to Canada. There's too many Black women in the world for a Black man to end up with anything other than a Black woman. I do not support it at all. I have nothing against the white woman. I have nothing against the Chinese, the Asian, the Latino. They are human beings. I respect everybody. But a Black man's place is next to the Black woman, and a Black woman's place is next to the Black man, and I won't accept anything else. Because we are God's chosen people. African people are God's chosen people. We have an obligation to rebuild the race from within. How am I helping my race? How am I helping my community when the Black woman is the least likely to get married? She's the last married, the first divorced. We have all these single women with children, raising them on their own, trying to make men out of boys. How am I helping my race? By dating the daughter of a colonizer when I have so many of my own sisters who need me to help them raise them boys that they're trying to raise on their own.
Somebody would probably say the daughter of a colonizer didn't choose to be the daughter of a colonizer.
That is true.
Maybe a colonizer herself.
But the daughter of the colonizer had no problem accepting the benefits of the colonization. You yourself may have not been a slave owner. You yourself may have not been a colonizer, but you reap the benefits of that slavery. You reap the benefits of that colonization, and you've done nothing to level the playing field between your people and my people.
So this could be a whole, because I could say, what if the daughter were actually trying to. Anyway, we're going to go down.
Give me an example.
We're going to a slippery slope. You have many white women who advocate for the rights of Black people.
I want you.
Stand with. They're not Black, but they don't believe in what happened to Black people.
How do you actually know that? Because as a psychologist, you cannot read my mind. I can say anything and mean something completely different. Isn't that how the European took Africa?
So this is why I'm telling this to go down a whole different road, because we could take this into
Let's take it.
We can.
Black means forever. No bunnies never.
We only have 4 minutes, so we have to come off the relationship track and let's talk a little bit about the movement now.
Yes, ma'am.
And your feeling about the Pan-African movement.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it growing? Is it taking root?
It's growing. Pan-Africanism is experiencing a resurgence. Our critics would say, though, we have to put more metal to the movement. There's a lot of theory, ideology, but now we have to put it into place. And I think with this movement toward reparations, this movement towards dual citizenship, the success in the preeminence of Captain Ibrahim Traoré in Burkina Faso and what he's doing with the two other brothers there in the Sahel Alliance is beginning to catch fire. But we have to stay focused and we must remain independent. There's no place for the Chinese in this movement. There's no place for the Indian, the Latino, the Jew, the Arab. This is for African people. We must do it ourselves. There is no member of another race who cares enough about you to make you equal to his people. Because if you do that, if they do that, that imbalances their ability to exploit you. If Jamaica rises, how many Chinese businesses go out of business? If the black Jamaican rises, how many Indian businesses will go out of utilization? So our rise spells their economic disaster. Nobody wants to see the black man rise.
You speak later. In a nutshell, what would you say?
Sir.
I know you want people to come and
absolutely. Tonight, iNation Lounge, Old Spanish Town Road, 7 to 12 p.m. tonight. I speak at 9. I'm going to speak about Garvey because we really need to understand that. But I'm going to speak about the unity, because although white supremacy, which is now beginning to yield to a Chinese and an Indian supremacy, because the Caucasian is losing his numerical strength. Not that he ever had it, but he's getting smaller. The Chinese population is getting bigger, and India has now surpassed China as the largest nation in the world. So they're looking for places to colonize. They're looking for places to exploit. And the solution for us, as the Honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey said, the greatest weapon used against the Negro is disorganization. Stokely Carmichael, Kwame Ture said, if you organize a little, you get a little done. If you organize some, you get some done. But if you don't organize at all, you don't get anything.
And if you organize a lot,
yes, yes, we are where we are because of organization, not the color. We are disorganized, and that's why we are exploited.
Final question from me, Dr. Umar. From what you know about us as Jamaicans,
yes,
are we getting it right? Have we got it right?
My biggest concern for Jamaica, I expressed this 10 years ago in Ocho Rios, IRE FM. I keynoted the Garvey Day. And I expressed concern about the concessions that the Jamaican government is giving to the Chinese investor. That north-south highway that they built for $700 million and giving them a 50-year control over the tolls of that north-south highway and 1,200 acres of land to the Chinese to use as they so please, that is neocolonialism. We have to be very careful. And Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the great Osagefo, talked about this in his book, Neocolonialism. He said, the new colonialism looks like investment. And that is exactly what's happening in Jamaica. And if we do not stop, 50 to 75 years from now, the Chinese flag will be flying on this island and not Jamaica. Marcus Garvey turns in his grave. Paul Bogle turns in his grave. Sam Sharp, Nanny, Captain Cujo, they're turning in their grave because the very thing that they talked about, sovereignty for Jamaica, is at risk because we won't stop accepting the so-called investment, which is nothing but a disguise for neocolonialism.
Thanks for coming, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Great to see you.
Where do we see you later now?
iNation, Old Spanish Town Road, 7 to 12. Dr. Umar speaks at 9.
There's a flyer on screen. You want to?
How am I helping?
So, you know what I mean? You want to know when a movement is, you know what I mean, the right movement is when other movements have to steal from it to push them agenda. So, Dr. Umar Johnson must say a lot of good things, you know. But what you're going to find out is that, you know what I mean, a lot of what him said was just taken from the ISUPK. You understand? We were the ones that was spoke about, you know what I mean, no interracial marriage. And where did we get that from? We get that out of the Bible. You understand? We got that out of the Bible. But of course, you know them snake oil salesmen, yeah, them are gonna come about, and because their school of thought is not as sincere as what the ISUPK and the Commanding General Yohana does, they will take from somewhere else to strengthen their own argument. You know what I mean? In minute 7, he talk about black people and African people being God's chosen people. Now, where did that concept come from? Is the question. Who talks about God's chosen people? When look for me. We never see this before. We never see brothers and sisters, not brothers and sisters, but brothers on the street wearing this, saying that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are God's chosen people. When have Pan-Africanists start calling Africans God's chosen people? When did that start? The reason why you hear him use that term is because now he want to, you know what I mean, use this talking point to win over people. You understand? That's all he's trying to do. He's a snake oil salesman. Now we are going to read in a Deuteronomy. See in Deuteronomy chapter 14 and 2, and it says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God, and the Lord has chosen thee to be a peculiar people unto himself above all nations that are upon the earth." Right? That is what the Bible said. Here where Dr. Umar Johnson said in minute 7 and 40 seconds.
To rebuild the race from within. How am I helping other than the black woman? I do not support it at all. I have nothing against the white woman. I have nothing against the Chinese, the Asian, the Latino. They are human beings. I respect everybody. But a black man's place is next to the black woman, and a black woman's place is next to the black man, and I won't accept anything else. Because we are God's chosen people. African people are God's chosen people. We have an obligation to rebuild the race.
The term God's chosen people is coined by the Bible, and it was talking about the children of Israel. Dr. Umar Johnson, a Pan-Africanist, also one popular Pan-Africanist that you have in Jamaica is Muta Baruka. Who know Muta Baruka? You know what I mean? Put a one in the chat. See? They don't believe in the Bible. They don't believe in the Bible whatsoever. And this is why some people think that he's an agent, you know. Me personally, I don't know if he's an agent. I just, you know what I mean? I don't know. But we know that the Israelite movement has become so undeniable that the oppressor would want to put a lot of agents out there to disrupt it. You know what I mean? For example, look at the work that Captain Tazariak is doing. Captain Tazariak of the ISUPK and a Commanding General Yohana. You know how long we have been seeking, you know what I mean, a debate with Dr. Umar Johnson? Dr. Umar Johnson is running. He don't want to have the sit down. And we are going to find out about people, agents never want to be confronted. They want to just be able to go around and spread them lies. We are the ones that say we are God's chosen people. And when we say that, we weren't talking about Africans. The Bible is not talking about Africans. The Bible is talking about the children of Israel that was enslaved in Egypt. So if you want to know when somebody is disingenuous, you are going to see them use things that has nothing at all to do with their talking point and use it to strengthen their own talking point. And that is what Umar Johnson just did. You understand? But with Jamaican, alright, Jamaican people like good talkers, you know, people who can speak. Black people on a whole, Hispanic on a whole. You understand? Native Indians, like people who can speak. But what we need to understand is not everybody that can speak is talking sense. Not because them can speak well means that what they are talking makes sense. You will have somebody who's not an excellent speaker and he's telling you the truth. And you will have somebody who's not a good, who's an is an excellent speaker. I don't know if I mix it up a while ago, slack ya. You will have somebody that is not an excellent speaker and he's speaking the truth, and you'll have somebody who is an excellent speaker and he's telling you pure lies. You understand? And Dr. Umar Johnson is one of those people. Good speaker, but be a madness. Then Jamaican people need to understand that you are not Africans. And when the Bible speaks about God's chosen people, it's talking about blacks who were enslaved, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Now, Dr. Umar Johnson, let me pull up the tape. He says something about interracial marriage, which is right, you know what I mean? But him have it twisted. We're going to pull it up and play it again.
Members, blood members of the African race constitute a single Africanity. Everything else, your family chose to be done for African people, must be done. Repatriation, they're strong, politically competent. Particular, and UK, or this past March, slave trade, the worst. Didn't get a chance to see him then because I was. However, we cannot wait for it, and we continue to.
You said I should ask you because you said you should not marry outside of your race.
Absolutely.
And he said, what about Jamaica? We're out of many one people, so we have different kinds of Jamaicans. We look differently. And if some people might say there's a white Jamaican. So should I not marry a Jamaican if she doesn't look like me?
My opinion on interracial marriage is identical to that of His Excellency Marcus Messiah Garvey. No black man has any business dating, mating, or procreating outside of the race. No black woman has any business dating, mating, or procreating outside of the race. There are more black women in the world than any other population. She outnumbers everybody as a population. So if you don't like the African women in Jamaica, go to Haiti. Go to Brazil, go to Barbados, go to Africa, go to Canada. There's too many black women in the world for a black man to end up with anything other than a black woman. I do not support it at all. I have nothing against the white woman. I have nothing against the Chinese, the Asian, the Latino. They are human beings. I respect everybody. But a black man's place is next to the black woman, and a black woman's place is next to the black man, and I won't accept anything else. Are God's chosen people.
All right. What he's saying is right and wrong at the same time. You know what I mean? Yeah, you should not have intermarrying. Black people should not intermarry. But he's making it seem like Africans and we are the same race. If a black Jamaican marry an African, that is interracial marriage. Because Jamaican black people are not Africans. Let me repeat that. Jamaican black people are not Africans. We are two different races of people. And that was the mistake that Marcus Garvey made. Marcus Garvey, I think he meant well. He make a lot of mistakes, but he didn't have the truth. He never have the truth. And that is why his movement failed, because it never come from the records that the Most High gave us, which is the Bible. That's why movement failed, because what Marcus Garvey was trying to do is connect us with the Africans. And that was his biggest downfall, because the Africans were the ones that sold us to the white man. But Marcus Garvey did not have, what do you call it now, the truth as to what going on and the truth of who we are. We are not Africans. We are the Jews. We are the real Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel. And to answer Dr. Umar Johnson, Latinos are also Israelites, our brothers and sisters. So we can marry a Latino or a Native Indian or a Hispanic, but we can't marry an African. And that is the danger with, you know what I mean, with Dr. Umar Johnson and other people like the FBA and them. You know what I mean? Them don't really know the truth, or they are agents. You understand me? And where did he get this talking point that we should not intermarry? That come from the ISUPK. So what they are doing now is taking, stealing, biting talking points from the ISUPK and mixing it within, you know what I mean, their own talking point to give it strength. But they never want to face the ISUPK. I can guarantee you that if Dr. Umar Johnson ever sit down with Commanding General Your Honor or Captain Tizariak, the Commanding General Your Honor or Captain Tizariak would wipe the floor with Dr. Umar Johnson and expose his lies. But them always running. Gino Jennings is another one. You know what I mean? Pastor Gino Jennings, always running. I think our people, instead of inviting these Pan-Africans, these people with an agenda to come visit Jamaica because you think that black people need knowledge, you need to reach out to Commanding General Your Honor. Give Commanding General Your Honor an invite to Jamaica. Buy him a first class ticket. You know what I mean? Put him on one of these big radio shows. You understand? Put him on one of these big TV stations here in Jamaica. Give him the platform. And if you want the answers, he will be able to give you the answers. Stop inviting these snake oil salesmen to Jamaica to only try and exploit Jamaicans. When things don't work out well for them find a new, you know what I mean, pasture. Because you know how long you might try build film school. The ISUPK build school all around the world. So what's so special about film school? We have school in New York, we have school in Trinidad and Tobago, we have school all over the world. We have school in Miami, Florida. We have schools all around America. You understand? Dr. Umar Johnson has tried to build film school for more than 10 years or 15 years now. And now that it's so-called build, he might have problems. You understand? He's trying to resurrect a movement that failed. And that is Marcus Garvey movement. Marcus Garvey, of course, as I say, meant well, but Marcus Garvey did not have the truth. You understand? He didn't have the truth. And when you don't have the truth, you have to steal from the truth. And that's why we say we are the ISUPK, the home of the truth. And that's why you have Dr. Umar Johnson calling black people God's chosen people, because we let you know that black people is God's chosen people. But not every kinfolk, not every skin folk is kinfolk. The Africans are not God's chosen people. They are the ones that sold us into slavery. You understand? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you that there's a difference between black people here in Jamaica and the Africans. See? So this is the Zandervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary, right? And it's a very important book for you to have. So you understand the meaning of words in the Bible. You understand? Now this is going to tell you about somebody named Ham. Ham, if you know the Bible or you read Genesis, you know that Ham is the son of Noah. You understand? Let me read it. It says, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. No, we have a problem. It said, he is the progenitor or the father of the dark races, not the Negroes. Why? This is a long time book, you know. This is not a modern book. You see, in time past, information wasn't so hard to come by. It was common knowledge that black people in Jamaica, black people in America, black people in Haiti are not the same as the Africans. Even though we were taken from Africa, we are not the same as the Africans. You understand? This is telling you that Ham is the father of the dark races. But take the Negroes out of it. They are different. Right? Let me continue reading. It said, but the Egyptians, who are the Egyptians? The Egyptians are Africans. Right? Let's continue. The Ethiopians, Africans. Right? Libyans and Canaanites. Now we know Libya is in Africa. So who is the Canaanites? The Canaanites are the South Africans. They are the original Canaanites, right? But these are the sons of Ham. But Ham is not the father of the Negroes. Who is the Negro? The Negro is different. Jamaicans, Jamaican black people, you are a Negro. You are who they call Negro. Trinidadian black man, you are what they call Negro. Black American, you are what they call the N-word and Negro. Haitians, you are a Negro. Negro just mean black. You understand? In Spanish, the word for black is Negro. See, it comes from the Latin word niger, or I don't want to say the N-word blatantly upon this, but it pronounced so Niger, which you can find in the Bible, where they call Christ's disciples the N-word, Niger, in Acts 13 and verse 1. You understand? This has come from white people, this depiction of us. This is what they call us. They call us the N-word, which just mean black. Niger, or Niger, Niger, just mean black. One is black in Latin, Niger, and Negro is black in Spanish. You know what I mean? So, that is where the word come from. Zin? That is where the word come from. And Christ's disciple was called that in the Bible. Why? Who called them that? As a matter of fact, let me find the scripture. Acts 13 and 1. Zin? So this is the book of Acts chapter 13 and 1. And it says, no, there were certain, Slakia, no, there was in Antioch, Slakia. No, there were in the church that was in Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon. Let me put it on the screen. Put it on the screen so you can see it. Right? No, there were in the church that was in Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon that was called, what's that word? Somebody tell me what's this word. I'm going to highlight it so you can see it. See? Tell me what's this word. They were called this. You can see it? What's that word? So these Barnabas and Simeon was Jesus' disciples. You know what I mean? Disciples who were converted after Christ died, right? And this is what they were called. You understand? This is what they were called. Let me read it again. No, there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers as Barnabas and Simeon that was called the N-word, and Lucius and Cyrene and Maniam, which had been brought up with Herod the Tetrarch and Saul. You understand? Why? Who was calling them the N-word? Somebody blow my mind. Pause. Somebody blow my mind. Why were they called? Who was calling them the N-word? Yeah, Niger is Latin. It means black, and that is where the N-word come from. That is where the Niger come from. See? That's why them call you not only Niger, them call you Negro. Because both words mean black. Alright, let me look up the meaning of the word Negro. I'll put it on the screen. Negro, black in Spanish. See it? When I see it? When I see it? That's why them call black people Negro. You understand? Of course, them use it as a racial slur. Don't get me wrong. It is currently not a racial slur when we are using it against one another, do you know? We have popularized the term now that we use it against each other, not against. We call each other the N-word. But we don't mean a racial slur when we use it against our brothers. or use it to describe our people. But the oppressor use it as a racial slur. But where did it start? Where did it start? Me show you where it start. It start from the time of the Romans, from here in Acts. The disciples were being called the N-word. And who were calling them the N-word? The Romans. Who are the Romans? YT people. That's why when this say, I read again, Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of the 8 persons to live through the flood, he became the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. Them different. The Negroes completely different from Ham's children. Who is Ham's children? Let's see who is Ham's children. But the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. Those are the Africans. You understand? Those are the Africans. They are not our brothers. They are the ones that sold us into slavery. You know what I mean? They are the ones that sold us into slavery. So we know that, yeah, you might say, Brethren, are foolish this year talk because, yo, every black man come from Africa. Every black man from a black you come from Africa. Brethren, not all skin folk is skin folk. Because you have East Indians who well dark skin. The Arabs, the original Arabs, were dark skin. You think them light skinned people over the Middle East, they are Arabs? Black people love talk about them more because, you see, because we lose our identity, like what the Bible says, we like to identify with anything that is dark skin. Well, the Moors is one dark skinned people, but they are not us, they are Arabs from Morocco. Morocco is in Africa. See? The Moors are Arabs. Children of Ishmael, they are dark skinned just like we. And many of them used to live in Spain. We used to live in Spain too. We were being persecuted in Spain at one time. You understand? We were being persecuted in Spain at one time, you know. Because we had to flee Jerusalem. I'm going to read it out of this book. This is the book from Babylon to Timbuktu. And we're going to show you how black people, how Negroes, how the Jews ended up in Africa. See? This is from Babylon to Timbuktu, page 84, second paragraph. Right? I don't know if Nago can see that. See? This said, in the year 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. Now, when Jesus was on the earth, the Romans had already, you know what I mean, taken over and ruling. So Jesus was born in slavery under white people, just like you, just like every black man today. You understand? Jesus being a black man himself. See? No. By the time Christ died, hold on. No, this is BC, 65 BC, before Christ's birth. So this happened before Christ born. See? 65 years or 65 BC, the Roman armies under General Pompey captured Jerusalem. Who lived in Jerusalem? We lived in Jerusalem. We are the Jews. You understand? We lived in Jerusalem. So they captured our city. Majority of the Middle East belonged to us, but at this point, everything dwindled down to, you know what I mean, just a small piece of land because, you know what I mean, at this point, we were falling from grace. You know them way there? So anyway, it said, in 70 AD, now 70 years after Christ died. So they captured Jerusalem 65 years before Christ was born. Now 70 years after Christ died. See? General Vespasian and his son Titus put an end to the Jewish state, meaning they put an end to our kingdom. That happened in 70 AD. That's 1900 and I'm about 44 years now. Almost 2,000 years. See? Let's continue. With great slaughter, during the period of the military governance of Palestine, you know that same land over there in Palestine? That's our land. But they name it off of a people that don't belong there now. So when this book was written, the land was called Palestine, right? So the military governance of Palestine, right? Many outrages and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews fled into Africa. So during that Roman persecution, we fled into Africa. Why? Because the Africans look like us, basically. Me not think them look like us, but them dark skin like us. So we fled down into Africa. We run. We had to abandon ship. We had to flee our homeland because the Romans, you know what I mean, them are destroy we, unalive we, them are put we in a slavery, them are do all sort of things, them are oppress we. See? Them are oppress we from before Jesus born. You understand? And bear in mind, they were the one that unalive Jesus. The Romans, the same Romans that want to tell you that you have to believe in Jesus to be a Christian. You understand? The same Romans that give you Christianity, they unalive Christ. And persecuted and enslaved his people. You understand? Let's continue reading. So it says over 1 million Jews fled into Africa, fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. The slave market was full of black Jewish slaves. Get this book. You will get a proper perspective and color. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Our people was, you know what I mean, was taught to think narrowly about color. The white man is who created this color dynamic. You understand? Most of the earth was dark-skinned people. See? So not every skin folk is kinfolk. And that may I try to tell you. See? Get that book and read it, and you will see. Say, I not just Africans alone black. You understand? But the point I want me just read a while ago is that's how we got into Africa. So we were living in Africa for like, you know what I mean? Eventually more than 1 million went down into Africa. Many fled into Europe. You understand? Some went to Spain. We were persecuted in Spain. We settled in England and Scotland. We ruled England and we ruled Scotland. Hence, King James was the first king of England and the second and the sixth of Scott. King James was a black man who translated his people's record, which is the Bible. The Israelites' record in a form that everybody could get a copy because the Romans was trying to monopolize the Bible and its distribution and trying to paint them own self into the Bible. Eventually, the same Romans unalive King James. And his son had to flee into exile to France. And there was a fight, a war called the Jacobite Rebellion in England and Scotland, where black Scottish men and black Englishmen was fighting against the German rulership that they might try put over, you know what I mean, England, which now you get Queen Elizabeth and King Charles from. They eventually quelled that rebellion, and many of those Jacobites was brought here to Jamaica in slavery, and Barbados. I think of Barbados or Bahamas. And some of them was brought to America. This is part of history where them never teach you, because you can't teach a slave them history. If you go teach your slaves them type of history, you run the risk of your kingdom falling. We ruled England. King James was a black man. You understand? We fled into Africa too. The Africans never really liked that. We were in Africa for like what? From 70 AD to from 70 AD to about 1400 and odd, which was when the transatlantic slave trade started with the Portuguese. You understand? The transatlantic slave trade started because of the doctrine of discovery. The doctrine of discovery was when the Roman Catholic Church, the Romans, put a decree out that now every Christian nation must enslave every non-Christian nation. You know what I mean? And Pope Nicholas was the one who gave Portugal the decree that they should go and enslave black people and natives. That was how the transatlantic slave trade began. The Catholic Church, Christianity, was the one that ordered for our enslavement. So how is black people Christians today? How are we Christians today? How are Hispanics Christians today when it is, you know what I mean, the same Catholic Church who ordered, you notice Italy wasn't involved in the transatlantic slave trade. It was Portugal, it was France, it was Spain and England. You understand why? Because the Romans, the Italians, they just stood back. They was in control. Rome was still ruling under the guise of the Catholic Church, which there's a lot of conspiracy about that today. You know what I mean? With the grey pope and the black pope and all them things there who really pull the strings. You know what I mean? So, I don't know about that. But what I'm going to tell you is, it was the Romans who ordered our slavery. White people ordering other white people, which Portugal, Spain and all of them is just break off from the falling Roman Empire or the stronger Roman Empire. That's all they were. You understand? So we were in Africa for like 1,000 odd years. But we were doing better than the Africans. This place called Timbuktu was ruled by us. It's a city of intellectuals and all them things. There's something that the Africans them never have. We had colleges and all them things there in Timbuktu. We were doing way better than the Africans. So what happened? When that decree went out, the Africans them was willing for help. And what the Africans them did was to round us up and sold us on the slave ports of West Africa. The Nigerians, the Ghanaians, and all of them was complicit. We're gonna read something where we probably never hear about. We're gonna read this logbook from a slave ship. See? This is on discoveringbristol.org.uk, right? And this is a page from a logbook from a slave ship, right? And yet this is going to amaze you. But this is going to give you an idea of what the transatlantic slave trade look like. And this is a message to Dr. Umar Johnson and you, Pan-Africanists, who want us to go back to Africa and love Africa. You don't know the history. The history that you are spitting is just the same lies that the white man told us that we are Africans. They don't give you the full story. History is not black and white like you want to make it out to be. You understand? So this say, the logbook from a slave ship. So here you can see the page of the logbook. Let me open this in a different. You know what I mean? So this is the page of the logbook. And this is the translation. Or this is the digital writing it. And it said, the following are extracts from the logbook of the Bristol slave ship, the Black Prince. In 1762, the logbook remained intact today. A page from it is pictured here. The journal of the intended voyage in the ship Black Prince from Bristol to the Gold Coast of Africa, being her 7th to the coast commencing April 24th, 1762, was kept by the Captain William Miller. The owners of the ship were James LaRock and Co. That was a company. You had companies back then. You have, you know what I mean? What you call it? What you call them thing there? Insurance company and all them thing there back then. And these were the owners of that ship. LaRock, James LaRock and Co. Right? The Black Prince left Bristol on the 24th of April, 1762, arriving at the West African coast on the 26th of June. The ship stopped first at a place in West Africa called St. Paul's. And over the next 8 months, moved around the coast buying slaves. It never said catching slaves. It said buying slaves. Somebody said we love Pan-Africanism, not Umar Johnson. Well, guess what? Pan-Africanism is madness too. Because you are telling we that we need to identify with the people who were selling us in slavery. You understand? We are not Africans. See? So Pan-Africanism is madness. It said the captain wrote, let me big it up on the screen so, because many of you might think me I read something we make up. Many of you watch it on the phone right now, so you might can't see the screen, but you can go over the YouTube channel where we are streamed on the regular screen as well, so you can see where we are read. See? So go back after this video, go back and watch this part. You understand? It said the 30th of June at 3 a.m. the longboat came on board with 7 gang casks of water and some traders with 2 men slaves. What is the longboat? The longboat is the canoe that the Africans them travel upon. It came out to sea, meet the ship. Because that is how the transatlantic slave trade was conducted. Boats came out and meet the ships with slaves. Already caught by the Africans. But this boat brought 17 gang casks of water because why? It's a trade. And the people and the people on the ship need water. The white man on the ship need water. So him come for buy water and him come for buy slaves. So it's 17 gang casks of water and some traders with 2 men slaves. So at this particular date, the longboat came with 2 men slaves. Right? Let's continue reading. The 17th of July, my black servant, it says his black servant, called John Prince, gave an impertinent answer to Mr. Thomas III, made for which I'm giving him correction. So one of the slaves them make a disrespectful talk against one of the white man them. And the captain was correcting him or punishing him. See? Told me, talking about the slave told me he would be up with me for it. Upon which I put him in irons and slapped down on the quarter deck and put him on bread and water prison of fear till he know better and to equivalent what he said, told me would run away as soon as he could. So one of our brothers said he would run away anytime he get the chance. Right? The 13th of August, the pinnace returned, brought some rice, but no slaves. So the canoe came, but this time they had no slave. They must bring some rice. Right? May I show you how the transatlantic slave trade went down. 7th of September, King Andrew came on board, gave him a keg of brandy. King Andrew was an African trader, probably nicknamed by his British trade partners. Now, what were the Africans to the British? Trade partners. Nickname, this African was nicknamed King Andrew by his British trade partner, and this African was a trader, a slave trader. Verse 16. See? 16th of September, I mean. Sailed down along coast. So they want to sail along the coast to see if they meet no more traders, see if they can get some slaves, right? Me need to see the whole of the book here. And we can tell you, see, a lot of these, and people out there watching, no for you have better research capability than me, you know. You no need to go find out them things here. See if you can obtain these logbooks. These logbooks, they are still around. And many information is in there. We can help black people get the answers to the questions that we have need to answer. You go out there and find them logbooks here. And yes, so you're going to get the real data, because if you know anything about a ship have to have a logbook. When you go on a ship, them log your name, them log your description, them log your occupation. Every cargo on a ship, from oil to containers, have to be logged. And during the transatlantic slave trade, we was the cargo. If you want to find our real names and what we were called, it in them logbook here. So if you think information is lost, no. As a matter of fact, information was maintained in the best way possible. But not in the place that you thought. You thought you are going to find the information in a library somewhere or underground. You need to find them logbooks here. When you find them logbooks here, you'll get the full information. Let me continue to read this. See? So 16th of September, sailed down along coast. 20th of September, some canoes came on board with some slaves, but could not buy any but one man. So some canoes came selling slaves, but the captain, William Miller, could only buy one slave. These were the Africans selling us. Who were they selling? They were selling the Jews, the Israelites, God's chosen people, the people who wrote the Bible. Somebody named Lenny Venter Entertainment say, we have many here, you are wrong. Virgin, tap your eyes, man. You don't have none. You have never seen a logbook from the slave trade in your life. I first you know say something like this exists. First you know something like this exists. First you hear this, and because of your stubbornness, you don't want to listen, because you still want to call yourself Africa. You have Virgin move for it. I'll kick you out of the chat, you know. I'm going to kick you out of the chat. But you don't have nothing. These logbooks are got in some, you know what I mean, some government library, like the Library of Congress or the Library of Jamaica National Library. You don't have it. You don't have nothing. You understand? You don't have a damn thing. The white man have it. We need to go to Spanish Town National Library and see what we can find on that. Yeah, in America, make it worse. Make it damn worse. Let me teach you something. Go to the Library of Congress. That is where you need to go, because that is where we got the information that the land in West Africa was called Land of Judah. We got that from the Library of Congress. That is where you're going to find these logbooks. Not in your school library. And not on the internet. That is where our records is. That is where you're going to find the names of the people on those slave ships. But we can almost can assure you that they probably not get it. Probably don't get that information. You don't know nothing, man. Tap tell lie, man. Because you wouldn't call yourself Pan-African. And that me I try to tell you. Anyway, let's continue. So it said, 20th of September, some canoes came on board with some slaves, but could not buy any but one man. Verse 27, not verse 26. 27th of September. Find no trade except all slaves or children. October the 28th, purchase 4 slaves. So, you get the idea? 28th of November, 2 girls down in the measles. Alright, so it goes on, you know what I mean? Let me see this. It goes on and it goes on. Me need to get my hands on this full logbook. You know what I mean? We need to get our hands on this full logbook. This is in Bristol, this is in England. right? So the search now is for log books. You want the full truth? You need to find the log books. Let me repeat. The log books is where you need to find. When you find the slave ship log books, you're going to get the full truth. You're not going to get it in no history when a white man write, because he's going to tell lie. You're going to get it in the log books. Some of you don't have the patience, because the log books come like Leviticus and, you know what I mean, Numbers. You have to read and such and such and such, and people can't, them stop read after that. But we need to get to hands on them log books, yeah. When you go in at the libraries and find them log books, use on the phone and take picture, or on a wear one of them meta glasses and record the log books, because you can't take it out of them library. And we are search for is log books of slave ships that describe events and how things went, because as me I tell you, the transatlantic slave trade is just that. Slave trading, selling. It was like the stock market. We were being sold by someone to someone else. And that someone that was selling us is the Africans. We are not Africans. The Africans owe us reparations just like the white man. You understand? And with that, we're going to close out. We're not going to even make this any longer. You know what I mean? To order for everybody who came through. Make sure you click up the like button here. I want to notice every time when you come over here and you get some knowledge, click up the like button, man. What you do, man, and share. And tell a friend, you know what I mean? To tell a friend, to tell a friend. You understand? And of course, go over to ISUPK Jamaica and subscribe. I'm also over there. That's where we teach class. That's where we teach class, right? We keep class on Sundays, 3 p.m. We keep class on Wednesdays, 7 p.m. And then you can go over to ISUPK, Durham, North Carolina. You know what I mean? They keep class every day. Captain Nayatak keep class every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Jamaica time. Now you can go over to ISUPK online classes where General Myman keep class Mondays and Thursday at about 6 o'clock Jamaican time. ISUPK is the home of the truth. If you're not in the ISUPK, you are not in the truth. This is the body of Christ. It's one body. Then now you need to go over to Commanding General Yohana page, the real Commanding General Yohana. He have a show every Monday called the Black Watch, where he break down the mysteries of the Bible and correlate it with what's happening in today's time. You don't want to miss that. Also go over to Captain Tuzariak TV. You know what I mean? Where the champion himself, the Thanos of the debate community, you know what I mean, him posts very often over there. You need to go over there, subscribe. You know what I mean? Support him, you know what I mean? Because he's the one, you know what I mean, under Commanding General Yohana, where I carry this truth mainstream. You understand? Yeah, man. And if you're in Jamaica, call this number, we're going to put on the screen now, and get in class. Don't make the movement leave you. You know what I mean? Don't make this movement leave you behind. You understand? Remember when we used to teach class and nobody never used to listen. Nobody even cared. I'm going to tell you a lie we are tell. Now look who's laughing now. Eh? Look who's laughing now. All Kanye West knows say we are the real Jews. Kyrie Irving knows say we are the real. It mainstream. Christianity, I mean, we don't have much time left in a Christianity. You know, Christianity is a dying, you know what I mean, thing, you know. Rastafariism, that dead already. You know what I mean? Most of young Christ, through some work we put in here in Jamaica, that movement now no forward for go again. That's why you see them invite Pan-Africanists. Because Rastafariism, it now have no leg for stand on. We brought out the truth here in Jamaica, which is irrefutable. So right now, Rasta just have to believe in a, yo, we are just Rasta, yeah, man. Cause if they never try debate nobody, them get crushed. Cause the history of Rastafariism isn't enough far, it the right, it the everywhere. It can't survive. One thing with the lies can't survive. But why you think the ISUPK able to survive for so long? Because this is the truth. These are the truth, brethren. It's irrefutable. You can't deny it. We came up against all the odds and we win. Can't lose. That's why Umar Johnson and them have to run. I'm afraid. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, we have a camp in New Orleans. Just type in New Orleans is in which state again? Hold on. Which state is New Orleans again, Lisa? New Orleans. New Orleans. Is New Orleans in Mississippi? Or Louisiana? Oh, so the state is Louisiana. Alright, here what you do. Zane? Here what you do. The best way to do it, give me a second. Give me a second. Even though you can reach out to any ISUPK and get the number for New Orleans, but let me do something quick and fast. One second, sis. Da. New Orleans. Alright, Louisiana, Sita. Louisiana. No, we don't have a school in Louisiana, but guess what, sis? Here what you can do. Reach out to, can reach out to any one of them, but me go pick one. See, me go pick, give me a second, sis. North Carolina. I want to find North Carolina. South Carolina. Da. 1 second. Just have some patience with me, the sis. South California, this. Alright, here we do. Here we do, sis. You go call a number, you see? You go put it in the chat. And then you go ask the captain in the attack. You know what I mean? If you don't get captain in the attack, tell them to forward you to captain in the attack. And then tell captain in the attack that you want to know how to attend classes in Louisiana. You know what I mean? Is that what you said? I don't want to mix up what you're saying. Yeah, Louisiana. Right? So this is the number. Alright. Ask the captain in the attack. Zin? Reach out to Cap, make him know say look for your school in a Louisiana. He might go make you know how best for your 10 classes if you're in, you know what I mean? Because a school might not be in Louisiana right this moment. But you can attend classes online, or you can attend a nearby class somewhere. You understand me? So Lord be with you, alright, sis? Yeah, man. And with that, alright, let me see if I see no more question. I am going to join ISUPK. I am an Israelite. That's why I'm here. Always listening to you, Captain Tizariak, and all the true Israelites. I come across you on YouTube. I always tune in. Most I am Christ, the black peridot. Most I am Christ. Yeah, man, I saw it go for me too, you know. I used to watch online, I used to watch Captain Tizariak, General Anna, you know what I mean? From the debates days, you know what I mean? But over time, it started feeling like, you know what I mean, pointless for me just to watch online and not be a part of the movement, you know? So, I couldn't help it. I did have to reach out and make them know, say, yo, I want to be a part of the school, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. And things haven't been the same since. Like, my viewpoint of the world, so much more clearer. And my knowledge of the Bible, so much more, you know what I mean, refined. You know what I mean? And I better persevere 10 times. 10 times over. So, would I encourage you, don't sit on the sidelines like what me do for many years, but reach out. You understand? You can call a same number there where, you know what I mean, I just post a while ago and reach out to Captain Nayatak. You understand? Yeah, man. Do the right thing, man. Because the time I boil down. You know what I mean? We're living in interesting times nowadays. You understand? The oppressor kingdom will come to an end. And our rulership are forward soon. You know what I mean? You don't want to miss your opportunity. The scripture says, make thy election sure. You know what I mean? You don't want to put anything else on the table. You want to make your election sure. You understand? Many are called, few are chosen. If you encounter our videos and you hear the call, you have to answer the call. Christ himself said, my sheep hear my voice and they answer. You understand? I'm paraphrasing. So if you're Christ's sheep, you have to answer the call. See? And with that, like, share, follow, subscribe, and leave your questions in the chat. And with that, shalom.